Moudakis.
Right.
Every time he posts something that he thinks is just so clever and so smart, he gets absolutely roasted. The internet fixes him every time. And yet he comes back for more. I don't know what they're paying him at the Toronto Star to take this kind of abuse, this self-flagellation ritual that he performs once a week. But here it is. In his gross misunderstanding of what we are doing in Alberta to keep the smut away from the little ones. That, of course, is Danielle Smith, who is that's not even a good caricature of her. We must protect the children from this, and it's Archie Comics. Yes, because something as wholesome as heterosexual children in the Archie Comics, we would be banning that and not the absolute smut that
Mhm.
was uncovered in Alberta libraries,
Mhm.
school libraries.
And but this is exactly what the left likes to do. They like to extrapolate on a really good sound common sense policy and say, oh, but it applies to the Archie comics, that it applies to The Handmaid's Tale. Oh, it applies to. No, guys, what we're saying is Danielle Smith is reining in these crazy left wing lunatics that have taken over our public institutions, including throughout the entire public education system in Canada. And rescinding the books that had no business being in children's hands to
Right.
begin with. To
Yeah.
begin with. But this is what the left does. So let them have their little hot take. But what 222 minutes on
Oh
X did,
gosh.
okay, how he eviscerated this comment is just one for the ages. He has a way of cutting through all the baloney pretty quick.
Yep.
And
Yep.
222 minutes posted
A
a,
fixed
cor-
version.
a fixed version.
I should have warned people because those are the actual books that were
Right.
banned. These
Right.
graphic images, and I apologize for not giving you a warning in advance.
Yep.
This is what's coming out of the school libraries. And
Yep.
this, by the way, that stuff, that's what the teachers' unions and the Edmonton Public School
Yes.
Board
Are defending.
is not just offending, angry and spiteful that they can't show to other people's kids. If you want to
Yep.
show this to my kid, you better run from me. I hope you worked on your cardio because I'm not one to solve my problems with aggression. But I just might
Mhm.
because I'm worried about the kind of person who thinks this is acceptable. The
Yep.
Edmonton Public School Board, in response to the banning of graphic homoerotic images from
Mhm.
other people's kids, decided they're going to ban and they're going to have a tantrum
Mhm.
and muddy the waters. So they banned things like The Handmaid's Tale, 1984, which was quite ironic because they were the ones manipulating the truth in a grand Orwellian fashion
Mhm.
by saying that The Handmaid's Tale and Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret, and 1984 were in the same boat as this grotesque nonsense.
Yes.
And so Daniel Smith had to clarify for the idiots in the back. This is like we have to add in that we're protecting the classics while keeping the pornography out of the hands of other people's children. Why? Because they needed to fix the tantrum that
Yes.
the Edmonton Public School Board and their weirdo teachers pulled.
Yes. No, it's bad when the government has to step in and fact check the public
Twice
institutions
now.
that
Twice now.
yes,
They had to
that
do that when they first launched it. And then again this week when they said, you got like, there's no mistaking. There was absolutely no mistaking at the very beginning. This is what we need to get out of the classroom. Then they
yep.
said, "Oh, this isn't any classrooms. What? You're just solution in search of a problem." So then the minister said, "Actually, here's where we found it." And
Yep.
then they pull the classics, and the premier has to say, "There's no mistaking, but I'll make sure that you don't mistake it."
Right. And what they had to do is correct the left wing and the left wing media structure from claiming that this was an all-out assault on freedom of expression or free or or the freedom for children to access this. Nenshi has come out and said, we're on the side of kids getting, accurate information from their libraries or whatever Nenshi said to defend this, when in reality, Nenshi is claiming that we have to fund the classrooms. Funding the classrooms is exactly what got us into this mess to begin with. So if you
Yep.
take your average classroom of 30 kids and you apply that per student funding, classrooms in Alberta are getting funded upwards of $500,000 each. Are we getting $500,000 worth of value out of this? Or are we getting a monstrously bloated bureaucracy that allowed this to happen?
Right. By the way, I think Jamie Sarkanak did the numbers on that. And
Mm,
she pointed out Alberta's students are overachieving according to the national standards. So if they are
they are,
overachieving on less money, what's the problem?
right?
Maybe we're
Right?
spending too much money on this nonsense.
Well, I think we've
Like,
complicated things to the point where people like Danielle Smith have to come in and lay down the hammer on them because they took such liberties with what they deemed appropriate for other people's children, that now society has to take those liberties back. We are not okay with our kids being influenced by this kind of smut in the schools. We don't want our kids to have access to it. And as a matter of fact, we don't want our kids to be exposed to it in any manner. And I got to say this. I got to say this again, for every book they're taking out of Alberta schools, every inappropriate book they're taking out of Alberta schools, there are hundreds of digital resources that these crazy, insane teacher unions have proliferated throughout our entire
I
education
think this
system.
legislation captures the digital resources, if I understand the update yesterday.
Well,
A-
at
And
best, yeah, at
and
best, good.
and there's these teachers acted up because I think they could have gotten away with a lot more than
Mm,
they're going to get away with now. Because not only does this piece of legislation capture the digital resources, but they also have to have they basically have to make a library for their library, as in parents should be able to see every single book that's in your library
every
now.
single book that's in the library. I want to okay the books before my kids get them in their hands. That's where
So
I'm at with
So they
this.
probably could have gotten away with sneaking in other titles, but now
Right.
parents know all of you are a bunch of weirdos and we need to be wary of all the stuff that you're trying to do. And now we can look online and see
Yes.
what you're up to. So
Yes.
careful what you wish for, jerks, because you just might get it. Now you got
And
it. And I
and
couldn't
I
be happier.
and I would just like to add that this is not exclusive to Alberta, that Danielle Smith is tackling it. It incredible and overdue and absolutely necessary, but other governments should follow
Yeah.
suit. There is
Doug
no
Ford,
reason. Oh,
Scott Moe.
there's no reason why the government of Saskatchewan shouldn't be doing a full library resource review, a full
Right.
curriculum review. Parents are saying we don't want radical gender or crazy erotica exposed to our kids. And that's
Yep.
not too much to ask for. It's really, really not. So as fast as these other governments can follow suit, the better off we'll be.